Wesley Cato asks on Facebook, how do we get rid of regulations choking our businesses? Ms. Fiorina, specifically under the President's Affordable Care Act, employers with 50 or more employees are required to offer health insurance or be fined. Many are opting to pay the fine. Others are cutting back employee hours to duck the law altogether. What specific ways will you alleviate the pressure on small business?
Well, first, Obamacare has to be repealed because it's failing. It's failing the very people it was intended to help, but also it is crony capitalism at its worst. Who helped write this bill? Drug companies, insurance companies, pharmaceutical companies, and every single one of those kinds of companies are bulking up to deal with big government. See, that's what happens. As government gets bigger and bigger, and it has been for 50 years under Republicans and Democrats alike, then businesses have to bulk up to deal with big government. So we have to repeal it. It's tens of thousands of pages long. No one can possibly understand it except the big companies, the lawyers, the accountants, the lobbyists that they hire to protect their interests. Then we have to give back to states the responsibility to manage a high-risk pool. We need to try the one thing in health insurance we've never tried. Health insurance has always been a cozy little game between regulators and health insurance companies. We need to try the free market where people actually have to compete. And we ought to have the government ensure that you must, and I don't use that term often, the government ought to do something, that every healthcare provider ought to publish its costs, its prices, its outcomes, because as patients, we don't know what we're buying. Now, let me just say, I know more about innovation and entrepreneurship than anyone on this panel because I have led innovative businesses in the most highly competitive industry in the world for decades. The truth is, the secret sauce of America is innovation and entrepreneurship. It is why we must cut our government down to size and hold it accountable. It's why we have to take our government back, because innovation and entrepreneurship is crushed by the crushing load of a 73,000-page tax code. It is crushed by a regulatory thicket that is so vast we don't even know what's in it anymore. It is crushed as well by government bureaucrats who don't do their jobs very well and who are not held accountable, which is why I've said we've got to take our government back, and to do that, we have to know where every dollar is being spent and be able to move any dollar. We have to hack through this regulatory thicket, repeal so much, but also know what's in that regulatory thicket. We don't even know what regulations have been passed. Third, we need to build a meritocracy, as Scott Walker, by the way, is trying now to do in Wisconsin. And finally, we need to get to a 3-page tax code, and yes, that plan exists.
Just to be clear, you want to repeal Obamacare, but what's the alternative?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Just to be clear, you said you would repeal Obamacare.
Absolutely.
But what is the alternative? And how does that help small business?
We need to give the alternative is to allow states to manage high-risk pools for those who really need help. Look, I'm a cancer survivor. Okay? I understand that you cannot have someone who's battled cancer just become known as a pre-existing condition. I understand that you cannot allow families to go bankrupt if they truly need help. But I also understand that Obamacare isn't helping anyone. We're throwing more and more people into Medicaid, and fewer doctors are taking those payments. The point is, Obamacare is crushing small businesses. It is not helping the families it was intended to help. So let us allow states to manage high-risk pools. Let us try the one thing in health insurance we've never tried, the free market. Let us ensure that as patients and customers, we have the information to shop wisely for our health care.
All right. Thank you all very much. We're going to take a break here.